New at 10, a former Kansas avionics executive is heading to prison for smuggling aviation technology to Russia. The Department of Justice says 58-year-old Douglas Robertson will spend 32 months behind bars. Robertson pleaded guilty to violating U.S. export laws by selling advanced aviation technology to buyers in Russia. He served as vice president of Canrus Trading Company. After Russia invaded Ukraine, the U.S. government tightened export controls on aviation technology. Robertson continued to purchase, sell, and export the equipment to Russia without the required license.